Tonight on Sports Desk, history in the making. The Miami Hurricanes tight end room is home to college football's longest 10-year player.
Keeping it even, Canes soccer ties it up against SMU last night. The Sports Roundup will bring us the details on the matchup.
Finally, go blue to go Canes. Mia Hausman tells us how one women's basketball player is bringing the heat from the 734 to the 305 this season.
All that and more.
Sports Desk starts right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching Sports Desk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UM guy. You're watching Sports Desk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching Sports Desk.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Sports Desk. I'm Manny Nacarado.
And I'm Jordan Cerullo. Thank you for joining us. Manny, how about the Canes absolutely dominating Ball State last weekend?
I mean, yeah, what a win, a dominating win, but not without some weather delays. And after a 2-hour rain delay, the Hurricanes finally took the field against Ball State at Hard Rock Stadium. Let's take a look at those highlights. So the number 8th ranked Miami Hurricanes taking on Ball State Cardinals. Cam Ward dropping back late in the first quarter and delivers a strike to Xavier Restrepo. Restrepo already having an amazing season, celebrating with the crowd there. And again, this is late in the second quarter. Here's a screen to Sam Brown, and he goes whoop over the defender. What a hurdle by Sam Brown Jr. right there for the Canes. And here we are in the second quarter again. Cam Ward to the screen pass to Mark Fletcher, and he's going to turn on the burners and beat the secondary, and Mark Fletcher's going to get in for 6. Miami truly dominating Ball State, haven't even scored a point yet. And here's the Miami defense getting pressure, and here's Elijah Alston with the interception, a D lineman pick, and you know the defense is going to be fired up after a defensive lineman pick. Look at that team right there. Miami's going to dominate Ball State 62 to donut. Miami plays USF Saturday at 7 p.m. College football has gone through many changes over the years, and one tight end on the Miami Hurricanes has seen it all. I had the opportunity to speak to one of the oldest players in college football, Cam McCormick. For many collegiate football players, college lasts about 3 to 4 years. But for Miami tight end Cam McCormick, his journey took a different path, starting at the University of Oregon right out of high school.
After arriving there in 2016, I obviously was there for 7 seasons. I faced a bunch of adversity, a bunch of injuries.
Now, entering his 9th season, Cam has experienced all the pain football has to offer.
So in 2018, I broke my fibula and tore up my deltoid ligament in my left ankle, and then obviously had surgery to fix that. Come to find out what they used to repair the deltoid ligament in my ankle, the suture caused me to have a stress fracture in my medial malleolus, which is the inside of your ankle. So I essentially had to have surgery to fix a fractured ankle. So that put me out of all of 2019 season.
And because of this injury, Cam also had to sit out all of the 2020 season. And in 2021, Cam tore his Achilles. But after all the injuries, it was time to reflect on if continuing football was worth it.
Maybe this isn't your path. Maybe you should reconsider. And he was adamant. He's like, no, this is what I'm doing. Don't tell me to quit. I'm pushing forward.
While Cam faced criticism, the closest to him stuck by his side.
When he made that decision more than once to keep just pushing and trudging along and fighting his way back, the guy's incredibly inspiring to everybody around him.
It's not their dream, it's your dream, and it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about it. They're all going to have an opinion, and it's going to get ugly.
As Cam finishes his 9th year at the U and looks to the future, he knows he can handle anything that comes his way.
I did what I had to do. I gave it 100% effort, and I know that when I walk away from football, I can say that I gave it my all.
The Hurricanes are hitting the road up to Tampa to play USF tomorrow at 7 p.m. Cam McCormick looks to lead the tight end room and make an impact against the Bulls Saturday night.
Following the historic win against Ball State, Canes football will look to stay undefeated on the road tomorrow against USF.
Beat reporter Ashley Friedland is live at Raymond James Stadium with more. Ashley, what's happening in Tampa?
The University of Miami Hurricanes are headed to Tampa to play USF at Raymond James Stadium tomorrow night. And since last weekend they had a huge victory against Ball State where they completely blew them out, they're ready to face the USF opponents. Now Miami has a very strong offensive line, especially with their lead quarterback Cam Ward. But USF is not a force to be reckoned with. They're going to be a very challenging competitor. It's also Parents Weekend here at USF, so it's going to be absolutely electric in the Raymond James Stadium. But Miami is no stranger to electric. They do better when it's rowdy. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night to watch the Miami Hurricanes play the USF Bulls. I know I'll be there, reporting live for UMTV. I'm Ashley Friedland. Back to you guys at the desk.
Talk about coming in hot. Canes football is now 3-0 after a blowout win against Ball State last weekend. Jaden Cohey and Carter Lutz are live in the studio to break down last week's win and preview the coming weeks. Guys.
Welcome to In the Trenches. I'm your host, Jaden Cohey, joined by analyst Carter Lutz. Hurricane Nation, can we all take a moment of silence to remember and honor the memory of Ball State? With that 62-0 win, the Canes are now 8th in the AP roll for the first time since 2020.
They are 62-0. You said it, and what an all-around team win. Starting with the offense, the run game wasn't effective. What does Miami do? They let Cam cook, and the man went off. Over 300 passing yards in that first half. Went into halftime up 31-0. The rest kept rolling. And on the defensive front, they're still missing Ruben Bain Jr. You got to rotate a few guys out, but those transfers are really starting to settle in. Guys like Simeon Barrow Jr. and all around, this defense is clicking as well. So a hot start for Miami, but things are going to get a little bit more difficult, JJ.
They will. USF does have a loss on their schedule, but this is a more challenging game than the Canes have had so far, and a lot of that challenge starts with their quarterback.
It does, and that leads us right into Carter's clues for taming the Bulls on Saturday. Number one, you got to beat Brown down. USF's quarterback's name, Byron Brown. He's a junior. Last season, broke records at UCF throwing the ball, but he is dangerous with his legs. In 3 games so far, over 250 rushing yards. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry. You see the option here, his ability to draw defenders in, fight for extra yardage. We talked about that Miami defensive line. They're going to be key in this game in stopping those quarterback-designed runs because that's where USF thrives the most, and that's a big reason why they played Alabama close for 3 quarters. Number 2, guard the Cane. Cam Ward, you got to be able to guard him. We talked about that Miami defensive line. Well, guess what? USF's got a really solid defensive line. Take a look at the offensive front for Miami here. Cam Ward has the time to step up in the pocket. Here, first read's not available, looks left, he's got all day. And when you give Cam Ward time, the throw is going to be on the money. My favorite play from last week, the offensive line fights through a little adversity, but no problem for Cam Ward. He's got enough time to deliver it on the money to the right side of the field, and that's going to work out just fine for Miami. Number 3, stay humble, stay hungry. USF is coming into this game. Some might say it's a trap game, but Miami's got to keep their eyes on the prize, and it feels like they have done just that.
They have. It's not just that physical strength, it's that mental strength too. Let's send it back to the desk.
Coming up on Sports Desk, Canes Volleyball is playing Texas Tech right now after slamming down Arkansas last night. Jaya Williams is live at the game to tell us more right after this.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Volleyball is coming off a big win, beating 25th ranked Arkansas, and Canes soccer was in a close one last night. Tucker Kinney and Riley McManus will break it all down in tonight's O Sports Roundup. Guys?
Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of the O Sports Roundup. I'm Tucker Kinney.
And I'm Riley McManus. We've got a lot to discuss today, so let's get it kicking with soccer.
Riley, the Hurricanes took on Southern Methodist University last night at home, fighting their way to a 3-3 draw and showing what Coach Ken Messer called a relentless attitude after a tough loss to Virginia. It was a back-and-forth battle of the offenses that saw freshman Giovanna Canali scoring 2 and Crosby Nicholson scoring in her second consecutive game as the Canes finished with 10 shots on goal. With her 2 strikes, Canali increased her tally to 5 goals and 8 games and nearly had a third when she had a penalty kick saved in the dying minutes of the match. Next, the Canes will head to the West Coast to kick off against Stanford. Riley, volleyball had mixed results this week. Tell us more.
Well, Tucker, unfortunately, volleyball's winning streak has come to an end at the Texas Invitational. The Canes suffered back-to-back losses against Ohio State and Wright State. However, they bounced back in a big way, ending the weekend with a 3-0 sweep over Buffalo. That victory set the tone as the Canes returned home for the 305 Challenge right here on campus. Just yesterday at the Knight Sports Complex, they took down number 25 Arkansas in another 3-set sweep, tallying 43 kills, 40 digs, 9 blocks, and 7 aces to claim the victory. They will continue their momentum, facing off against Texas Tech and FIU this weekend.
Next week promises to be action-packed as the tennis team will compete at the ITA All-American Championships. The golf team will head to the Mary Fossum Invitational, and the swim team will dive into their season as they take on Florida International University. We will cover all those events and more next week, but for right now, that's all we have time for today. Back to you at the desk.
Canes volleyball swept number 25 ranked Arkansas last night and are playing Texas Tech right now in Knight Sports Complex. Our lead reporter, Jaya Williams, is live at the Knight to tell us more. Jaya?
I'm here inside the Knight Sports Complex where the Hurricanes are facing off against Texas Tech. We're off to a pretty strong start here with the Hurricanes in the lead, up 1 set, and they're coming off a pretty impressive win against Arkansas. They defeated them in just 3 sets, taking down another top 25 opponent. One key player to look out for is Flor Marie Colon, who was recently voted Most Outstanding Player for the Hurricanes. I know local fans are hoping they continue their dominant run, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here tonight. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Jaya Williams. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Jaya. Running clubs are popping up everywhere, repopularizing an age-old exercise. At the University of Miami, student runners hit the pavement, not just to improve fitness, but to forge connections and boost mental health. Our reporter, Jaya Williams, explores how running is changing lives one step at a time.
Just before sunset on a warm Tuesday evening, UM junior Victoria DeFreitas prepared to lead the Campus Run Club's first meeting of the semester.
It's a perfect outlet. All you want to do is get out of your student life.
For Victoria, running has become a passion, sparked by her father a few years ago after he noticed a concerning change in her behavior.
She was not as happy as I seen her, but I think it was all a function of her mental state. I tried to provide some perspective, focused on something else. Running was that for Victoria and I.
5 years ago, Victoria's father moved the family to Pennsylvania for a job. That meant switching schools and leaving her old life behind. She didn't take the change well. In fact, she says it triggered a tough battle with depression.
I wasn't very open about my feelings. Bottling those up led to a little deep, dark place. I needed a goal, and my dad was like, why don't you just start running again?
She took her father's advice, turning running into her lifeline. 5 years and one more move later, Victoria is now president of University of Miami's Club Running, with a commitment to helping others.
I never leave anyone behind. I want someone to feel vulnerable, and I get to support them. This is why I'm doing this.
And the benefits of running aren't just opinions. They're proven by science. professor Dr. Brian Arwari studies the link between exercise and brain health.
Exercise de-ages your brain. You get more oxygen to your brain. The regenerative quality of the sleep is a lot better. If you run, and you're running just for mental health, you just want to reduce anxiety, you don't care about anything else, you'll also lower your body fat. You'll also increase your cardiovascular, even if that's not your objective.
Many people say they can't imagine committing to running, but seasoned runners say it's all about getting past that first hurdle.
If you run in any capacity, like if you run, then you are a runner. Everything becomes so much easier, and it's just about taking that first step and going on that first run.
Your body can do it, but your mind is the hardest part, which I think is why a lot of people feel so good after.
A lot of mental health is lack of social connection. If you could get the fitness and the social connection doing the same thing, it's a win-win.
Life may not be guaranteed to be perfect once you lace up a pair of running shoes, but for DeFreitas and countless others, it's an incredible tool for navigating life's ups and downs.
Maybe running cured me. Depression's like, you don't really get out, you're not cured forever, but running's been the perfect antidote.
One step at a time. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Jaya Williams.
In this week's Athlete of the Week, Annika Elves sat down with one Canes cross-country runner who has gone quite the distance in her 2 years at the U. Annika?
Hi everyone, and welcome back to this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. I'm your host Annika Alves, and from women's cross country today we have Maddie. Maddie, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I'm going to start off this segment with a little game I'm going to call Run It. I'm going to give you an activity or a place, and you're going to tell me if you run it or not.
Okay.
All right, ready? Coffee.
Run it.
Onions.
Stop.
Sprints.
Run it.
Golf.
Stop.
Europe.
Run it.
Beaches.
Run it.
And running hills.
Stop.
And acai bowls.
Run it.
Run it. Wait, love it. Thank you.
Of course.
So your freshman year, you placed 4th at the FAU Invitational, but this year you got your first collegiate win at the FAU Invitational, which is so exciting. What was it like to get first place this year?
It felt really good crossing the line first. I haven't won a college race yet, so it was super exciting and good to see that all the hard work paid off.
No, that's awesome. And what was the training that went into this past year to get to that point?
Well, I think just like all the training over the past year has just added up, and I had a really strong summer of staying consistent with my training, so it just all added up into having my first college win.
Wait, that's awesome. And then what do you hope to accomplish this season?
From an individual standpoint, I hope to get a PR in both the 5K and the 6K for cross country, and then I hope to help my team get our highest place at ACCs and regionals.
Oh, that's an awesome goal. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Up next on Sports Desk, Canes volleyball had a smackdown on the court, and the socials did not disappoint. Zach Macer takes us behind the post after the break. But first, it's time for some Hurricanes trivia. Canes football takes on USF tomorrow in Tampa. But when was the last time the Hurricanes faced the Bulls? Was it A, 2021, B, 2016, C, 2013, or D, 2005? The answer when Sports Desk returns.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
All right, we have some nice snacks here in studio. So what are your favorite sweet treats? Quick. Oh, I got to go with the double chunk chocolate cookie with my boy, Big Age, Big Justice, and AJ.
Froyo.
Froyo.
I beat me. Welcome back. If you guessed C, you're correct. Miami last played USF in 2013. The Canes topped the Bulls 49-21.
Canes basketball is inching closer, and the Hurricanes men's team have some new faces sitting in the front court. And the Lady Canes are welcoming a new face to the squad. Emmeline Smith, Giovanni Alonso, and Mia Hausman take us to the hardwood in tonight's Hurricane Hang Time.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Hurricane Hang Time. I'm your host, Emmeline Smith. Today I'm joined by Mia Hausman and Gio Alonso, who are going to continue to talk about what to expect this season. Gio, I understand that the team lost some crucial front court players last season. Can you tell us how the team is addressing these needs?
Well, yeah, Emmeline, Miami did lose a lot of players in their front court, such as Michael Nwoko, Christian Watson, and of course, Norchad O'Meara. Now, last week we talked about Lynn Kidd, who will most likely slide into that traditional center role that Miami has been missing for these past few seasons. But I want to talk about two other guys that can bounce between the 4 and the 5 on Miami's team. The first is Kyrie Huey. He played center at Idaho State, but will probably play the 4 at Miami. He is big, 6'9", 220 pounds. He's going to add some much needed size to this Miami roster. A Miami team that got out-rebounded quite frequently against top-level opponents last season. The other transfer I want to talk about is another guy who plays more of a traditional 4, and that is Brandon Johnson. He averaged 14 points and 8.5 rebounds per game last season. But that's not what I'm really looking at when I look forward to how successful he will be this season at Miami. One thing I'm looking at is last season he shot 36.5% from 3 on 5.7 attempts per game, bringing key floor spacing for Miami to free up the interior and also free up sharpshooters like Nigel Pack.
Thank you so much, Gio. And Mia, I know that the women's team has had a few successful past seasons. How are they addressing the needs of this season to add more points on the board?
Yeah, Emmeline, one way to address those needs is to bring in sharpshooters like Darian Rogers, the transfer guard from Mississippi State. She is coming to Miami with almost 1,400 points and 234 career three-pointers. 60 of those were drained last season. Coach Cullup says she is a very versatile perimeter player, high-level scorer with an excellent basketball IQ, a terrific leader on the court, and just a great teammate all the way around. I got to speak to Darian's teammate and friend Cameron Williams last week to learn more about the newest post player for the Canes.
In the offseason, Canes women's basketball made a lot of moves, one of them being the acquisition of post powerhouse Cameron Williams. Coming from Big Ten Michigan, Williams had some adjusting to do.
I think it opens up a different side of the game that I haven't gotten to really play. I think both conferences are amazing, and I think they both have different styles of play.
Williams isn't too worried about these differences, as her game fits them all.
I think especially being in the ACC, which is a super tough conference, you're really going to need post presence. And I think even just playing in the Big Ten, it's super physical as well. So carrying that experience along with my post presence, I think will be super valuable.
This isn't the first time Williams has faced change. In high school, she tore her meniscus, altering her perspective as she moved on to college basketball.
It's super difficult to take, what you've been playing your whole life away from you, and then you just instantly have to find another way to, adapt and still find a way to contribute to the success of the team. But I did learn a lot about myself and made me become a leader in different ways, vocally if I couldn't physically be on the court with my teammates.
The person who stood by her through it all is also the one to give Williams her first basketball.
The first time I picked up a basketball was probably when I was like a toddler. My dad, he played in the NBA for 14 years. My dad for sure has been someone who has been in my corner since forever, and it's never stopped. I mean, he's always at all of my games, cheering me on, yelling at me, telling me what I could do better.
For Williams, it's been a warm welcome to Coral Gables, emphasizing her perfect fit in Coach Cullup's puzzle.
Especially coming into a new team, they've all made it known that they really respect me, they really trust me and love my game and how I can help the team succeed. When you can have that chemistry and camaraderie off of the court, it really translates to on the court.
The Canes are thrilled to have Williams join the Storm on court, a feeling that Williams shares.
Playing for the Canes now, I feel like is a really surreal moment. But I'm really honored to be here and play for Coach Cullup. I really love her philosophy, and I'm excited to play with the Canes this year.
For UMTV, I'm Mia Hausman.
From the Razorbacks to the backfield, Zach Macer will have you head over heels for Kane Sports in this week's edition of the Behind the Post.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling great that it's week 2 of SportsDesk. And of course, you know you'll get to spend it with the best. From everything Miami Hurricanes on your phone, you know when I'm on SportsDesk, it's time to get into the zone. So sit back on your couches, prepare to coast. I'm Zach Macer, and it's my time to take you behind the post. Now, what would a Behind the Post segment be if we didn't start with another Canes dub? You already know, Canes football demolished Ball State 62-0, and of course, there were multiple players who were absolutely buzzing. One of which was my man, the Zach Macer preseason Heisman Award winner, Cam Ward. Look at those stats, 346 yards and 5 TDs. At this point, I'm gonna say it every week. Heisman! Oh, by the way, Canes football social media admin, I agree with you. Keep posting those Cam Ward highlights. But with jokes comes serious times for Canes athletics. The Hurricanes had an inaugural walk for breast cancer awareness. Multiple athletes walked for their friends and family. And here at SportsDesk, we have everyone who is affected by breast cancer with our thoughts and prayers. Continuing off the field, a new podcast is coming to a screen near you. The Hurricanes are releasing Storm Sessions, the newest pod to be released for all people with Hurricanes obsession. And who will be the first guest on? Of course, it's Cam Ward, duh. And finally, the 305 Challenge is looking extra great for the Miami Hurricanes. Canes Volleyball beat number 25 Arkansas in a sweep, and boy, do they look like their NCAA run will go deep. They play tonight against Texas Tech, and I don't think Texas Tech will look even close to Mahomey. Look, that's all the time I have today on this edition of Behind the Post, but don't worry, I'll be here next week for the segment you all love most. My name is Zach Macer, sending it back.
Still ahead on SportsDesk, the Tennessee Titans got their first win of the season against the Jets last week, and it wouldn't have happened without a huge play by Calvin Ridley. A touchdown you'll have to see to believe when we come back.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
The Tennessee Titans brought Calvin Ridley in this offseason, and that investment is already paying off. Let's head over to Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee for this week's Play of the Day.
Earlier this week, the Marlins took on the Dodgers at Lone Depot Park, and to no surprise, it wasn't the Marlins making history on their own field. Well, here's Shohei Ohtani making the steal there, and he gets the base. Shohei Ohtani's been a base-stealing demon all season, and with that stolen base, Ohtani hits the 50-50 club, but it wasn't just that stolen base. It was this home run here for 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Shohei Ohtani really making a big impact on the Dodgers, and they look to make a deep run in the playoffs. Jordan, they look fantastic. The Dodgers look like a real problem in the postseason.
They do. I'm very excited for MLB playoffs, Manny. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll be back next week, same time, same place.
Have a great night.